Hey, what's up, everybody? It's me, Jeff, the SP Spaz, back with another Fit Friday video, and I'm continuing my body transformation series, talking all about how I lost over 80 pounds using low carb diets and various other things, little things along the way that helped me. And when I left off last time, I was talking about uh, coffee and fasting and how those things had aided me in losing the weight. Uh, so I wanted to talk a little bit more about the coffee part because last time I focused mainly on my earlier experiences with coffee growing up and the times I had it, just drowning it in sugar and stuff, to try to drown out the taste because I didn't really like the taste of it. Um, and that continued up until this latest stuff I was doing here in terms of I read some things online, I guess, or saw some videos or whatever about how people had used what they called bulletproof coffee or fat coffee, keto coffee, or whatever you want to call it, with adding fat to the coffee, whether it was butter or MCT oil or um, various other fat sources, coconut oil, um, and that this served a couple of purposes. One was, basically staying full longer, um, but also getting more calories, but more percentage of the calories from fat, um, and of course not adding sugar, to that. Some people add other sweeteners that are 0 calories. Some people don't. But at the beginning, I didn't because I was when I was going on a steak and eggs diet, I was following, Vince Gironda's kind of protocol, and I followed the anaerobics channel on YouTube where, he said just put like heavy cream in your coffee and nothing else. So I tried that. Like I said, I used to put dump all kinds of sugar and stuff in there to try to drown out the taste. And I was getting like, McDonald's coffee or Sonic or, basically fast food coffee most of the time. Um, Subway, and they all pretty close tasted the same. And even Starbucks, which has this, is popular and has this reputation of having like better coffee or whatever, I couldn't really tell a big difference between the regular hot coffee from Starbucks than any of the fast food places. So it was like paying extra for no particular reason. But I did do that for a while, not every day, but from time to time, I would get the coffee and put heavy cream as the only thing I put in it. And I still didn't like the taste, but I sort of got used to it, and that it was, again, as I said in the previous video, it was a tool. So I was able to use it in meal replacement sometimes when I was trying to, just trying to fast longer without, consuming other calories. I would have coffee with the cream and the added fat, like either butter or the brain octane oil stuff, as my lunch, for instance. Not have breakfast and then have that as my lunch, and then not actually eat a meal, of actual food until supper time in the evening. So that was part of the way that I was able to do this. So it wasn't super pleasant, but it was doable. Um, the game changer actually ended up being, ironically enough, uh, in the store, in the grocery store, and it was Starbucks, but it wasn't a Starbucks counter or anything like that in the store. It was just bottles in the refrigerator case, and I'd seen that kind of stuff. I'd seen frappuccinos and cafe mochas and all this stuff, and I never even considered getting that stuff because I wasn't a huge fan of like sugary coffee mixed drinks or whatever even before that. But if I was going to get something like that, my mentality was, get it fresh rather than in a bottle in the store. That wouldn't be something that would occur to me to do for the most part. So I don't really know why. Again, it's just another one of those things that just sort of happened, as things tend to do in my life, um, where I just happened to see that Starbucks had bottles of unsweetened coffee, cold brew coffee. And I don't remember. I think I had heard. Obviously, I had heard of iced coffee, but and even had some before. But I don't remember if I'd specifically heard of cold brewed coffee or knew what the difference was between that and and hot brewed. I don't even think I really thought about it. I just remember seeing that. Oh, there's this cold brew, this unsweetened coffee, with like a tiny bit of calories in it. Maybe I should try that. I don't know what possessed me, but I just thought, well, hey, it's probably not worse than McDonald's. So I bought it. And I bought the only reason I bought the one I did, because they had three different levels or whatever. My mom always has been, the darker the roast, the better when it comes to coffee. That's her thing. It's kind of, she's like that with coffee. She's like that with beer. Everything is like, the darker it is, the better. Um, I, on the other hand, like I said, I think in the previous video, never really could tell a difference. They all seemed the same to me. So I didn't, and it was still the case as I bought this bottle, because the Starbucks cold brew had blonde roast, medium roast, and dark roast. Well, the only difference in terms of outwardly looking at the bottle was that for whatever reason, the medium and dark roasts had, I think, 15 calories per serving, I guess a cup. And the blonde roast had 10 calories. So 5 less calories. I said, well, I might as well get that one. Since I usually can't tell the difference between these types of roasts anyway, I might as well get the one with the least calories. So that's what I did. And I decided to try it cold first because, it was cold brew, whatever. And I was thinking, I could maybe drink this cold brew. And I tried it and I really liked it. And I was like, wow, this is the first coffee I've ever tasted that didn't have that sort of bitter coffee aftertaste. It has like, because I would eat things from time to time like coffee, ice cream, or other kind of flavored coffee. And again, it was always like coffee flavored stuff. There was enough sugar that kind of drowned out the coffee taste. That there was a part of the coffee taste I liked, but not like the sort of bitterness that comes, in the aftertaste of the actual like ground coffee itself or brewed coffee, or whatever. And I was like, wow, this is amazing. It's actually got like the good parts of the coffee taste without the bad part. So I was quite blown away by that. And of course, I could have just continued to drink it cold and it would have been fine. And I do sometimes, especially in the summer. But I decided to go ahead and just try heating it up in the microwave. And I know some people say, well, microwave's not the best way to heat things because things don't heat evenly and it destroys nutrients in there. Maybe that's true. I don't know. But sometimes you have to make some choices based on convenience and not worry about all that other stuff. Hey, it's great if you've got some kind of fancy coffee brewer and things that, uh, aid you in that, or you want to spend time doing a bunch of handiwork. Me, I'm probably never going to be unlazy enough to do such things. Now, if I became rich or something, I might pay somebody else to do it, but I'm probably not going to ever, be at that point. But anyway, so I heated up in the microwave, and lo and behold, it tasted as good, heated up, in fact, better sometimes. And one of the things that was happening as I was losing fat, especially when I was fasting for longer periods of time, is I would get cold more often. Like my body temperature was dropping. And, I used to be like, if it was, at work, if it was in like 75 or something like that, I'd be sweating. And now I was in a situation where when somebody was turning the AC down lower than 75, I was starting to like, I need to put my jacket on. So it was a big difference when as I was losing large chunks of fat, my body was changing. And that was one of the ways, is my body temperature. Now, I've always had lower body temperature when I first wake up in the morning. And so non-work days, or days that I kind of lay around and didn't really get moving for a while, and do things to warm up and didn't go outside into the hot sun, um, I would stay at a cooler temperature for longer. But still, I didn't find myself, like usually at work or other places, like actually feeling cold and feeling like when I went out in the sun that was like a relief to get into the warmth, like I sometimes do now. So that was a thing that was happening. And so it was comforting actually to be able to have the hot coffee in the morning because it was a way to warm up, which I had really never used it for, other than maybe just like holding onto a cup or something like that, or smelling it or whatever, just trying to kind of breathe in warmth. I guess I had done that before, but never drinking it to get warmth in the morning. That just wasn't something that I did. So, um, and then over time, over the course of watching videos, watching more like Thomas DeLauer stuff, he did videos about different kinds of coffee, fat coffee recipes, different things you can put in it, like not only butter but ghee, which is clarified butter, and other things that actually not only flavor it but also aid in health ways, like cinnamon and salt and some other things like that, turmeric. Um, so, as I watched those things, I started trying those things, started adding other things to the coffee to see how that went. And it went well. Like cacao powder was another one, that I found a really good recipe that he did using that. Coconut cream as an alternative to heavy cream because it's a non-dairy thing. In case anybody has problems with inflammation caused by dairy, I don't think I really do. It's hard to tell, but I don't have any particular evidence that that's a problem for me. But um, I'm glad that I like coconut. I love coconut, so coconut cream tastes good. It's a little bit more calories and more fat. So when that's fine, then it's good. It's fine. When I've had periods where I was actually trying to keep the calories a little lower, or the fat a little lower, which I'll talk about in an upcoming video when I talk about the pure protein diet, then I would stay away from the coconut cream. But when I'm doing something where a little more fat and calories in the coffee is all right, then it's a good thing to use, even without me having any particular knowledge of having any kind of reaction to dairy stuff. Because taste wise, I like both of them for different reasons. The heavy cream has a milkier taste because that's what it is. It has that kind of close in the direction of butter kind of taste, and I like that. But I also like the coconut flavor a lot. So it's good for two different reasons. But anyway, I discovered that there were things that I could add to two things. Number one, I found a coffee that was actually tastes good even without really anything added to it. And number two, I found other things I could add to the coffee that didn't add sugar, that didn't cause that insulin spike in the morning or whenever I had it. So they would be useful tools towards my weight loss instead of detriments. So first kind of went with the coffee purely as a tool. Even if it tasted bad, it was like the caffeine and the other elements in this are helping me. It's both as the caffeine and other things in the coffee beans, as well as the things that I put in it, like extra fat to try to aid in staying in ketosis and losing fat and all that, and staving off hunger, rather than consuming anything that was going to cause an insulin spike. So I had that, but then when I found ways I could actually make it taste better, then I actually look forward to it. And now, I have in the particular phase I'm doing now, I have coffee almost every morning. And again, I really don't think that it's like those people that have like a coffee addiction, because the days that I have not had it for whatever reason, sometimes up to like a week where I didn't have coffee, there hasn't been any like side effects or like withdrawal from coffee or anything. So I don't think that I have a caffeine or coffee addiction. And actually, I think I might have in the past, not from coffee, but when I used to have soda every morning. That I think actually gave me a caffeine addiction where when I stopped having soda in the morning, I started getting headaches. Whereas with coffee, I actually haven't experienced that. I occasionally get headaches, but I didn't experience that like when I went several days without drinking coffee. that didn't happen. So I don't think it was related to that. The headaches I get are related to something else. But anyway, and I still do a lot less often than I used to, which is another thing I plan to do a video about, talking about some of the other effects besides just weight loss that this whole body transformation has done for me. But this video, I wanted to go ahead and talk about how I learned to like coffee. I started to say love coffee. I'm not sure I'm to that stage yet. Maybe sometimes, there's certain times that a particular combination of stuff in the coffee, I'm like, this was really, really good. But most days it's just, yeah, this is pretty good. Which is way, like I said, way past what I used to be, where coffee was either disgusting or tolerable based on what I put in it and where it was from. The Starbucks cold brew coffee, and interestingly enough, after trying that, I tried Starbucks like fresh hot coffee, and it wasn't as good. It still had that slightly bitter aftertaste that is present in all the coffees. So, and I don't think I've tried like the cold brew in person. I was a little bit worried that if I did that, like at a Starbucks store, and that it was better than the store-bought HEB brand, or not HEB brand, but bought at the HEB, like that I wouldn't be able to go back to that or something. So I haven't actually tried that yet. I haven't, and they have this other one they call Nitro Brew or something like that. I haven't tried that either. So who knows? Maybe at some point I will. I'm sure it's step by step. I try things, and it's been interesting to see how all those effects go. But anyway, that's a little bit more about how coffee has become a part of my life, and for positive reasons. Anyway, I'll go ahead and wrap this up. If you are not already subscribed to my channel, please do so. Please like and share this video, and leave a comment down below what your experiences are with coffee. If you love it, hate it, what you like in your coffee, the type of coffee that you like, how you make it or don't make it, any of those. If you've had the same experience I've had with the cold brew, there are actually like legit nutritional benefits to cold brew versus other. I just don't remember off the top of my head what they are. If I do remember to put a link in the description to something about that, I will. Otherwise, maybe I'll talk about it in a future video, but I'm not worried about it. Anyway, thanks for watching, and see you next time.